Stop scrolling. Take a deep breath. This video did not exist in your reality until your consciousness called it forth. This is not a coincidence. It is an appointment. You are here because a part of you, the deeper part, knows you are a creator, but you feel your creative power is blocked. You've been trying to change your life, to manifest your desires, but it feels like you're cutting back a dying tree only to see it wither more. Have you ever felt that way? Like your efforts are not only fruitless but counterproductive? Today, we decode this struggle through a powerful, ancient metaphor: the pruning of the fig tree. I promise you, by the end of this transmission, you will understand the 3 quantum mistakes everyone makes, and you will hold the key to turning your tree of life into a source of infinite abundance. Before we proceed, you must understand what this fig tree truly represents. It is not merely a plant. It is the energetic structure of your personal reality. It is your consciousness made visible. Its roots are your core beliefs buried deep in the subconscious soil. Its trunk is your identity, the I you believe yourself to be. Its branches are the various aspects of your life, your relationships, your career, your health, your finances. And the fruit, the figs, are your manifestations, the sweet taste of your desires made real. The universe, the great quantum field, is the soil, the sun, and the rain. It provides infinite potential, but you are the gardener, you are the observer, and the act of pruning is the conscious direction of your attention and intention. It is the most powerful creative act you can perform, but performed incorrectly, it leads only to barrenness. The first and most profound mistake is this: you are pruning the reflection, not the source. You look at a branch of your life that bears no fruit, let's say your finances, and you see lack, you see debt, you see struggle. So you focus all your energy there. You obsess over the empty bank account, you complain about the bills, you hack away at the problem with worry and fear. But that branch is merely a shadow, a projection of a root belief. Trying to fix the external problem without addressing the internal belief is like trying to trim the shadow of a branch instead of the branch itself. It is a futile and exhausting dance with illusion. You are pouring your precious creative energy, your divine power of observation, into the very thing you do not want, amplifying its presence in your reality. The field doesn't judge, it simply responds. It gives you more of what you are observing. This is the great trap of the material world. Let's deepen this understanding. The quantum field is a mirror. It does not originate, it only reflects the vibration you are emitting. When you focus on the unwanted branch, the difficult relationship, the unfulfilling job, you are screaming at your reflection to change. You are telling the universe, this is what is real for me, this lack, this pain, this struggle. The observer effect dictates that whatever you place your conscious focus upon becomes more real, more solidified out of the wave of infinite possibilities. Your constant attention to the problem is the very energy that sustains it. The universe hears your vibrational complaint and, in its infinite and impartial wisdom, gives you more circumstances to complain about. It is a perfect system. The mistake is not in the system, it is in your misunderstanding of where your power truly lies. You are the projector, not the screen. To change the movie, you must change the film running inside your own consciousness. So what are the real branches that require pruning? They are not the external circumstances, they are the invisible structures within your own mind. The branches to prune are your limiting beliefs, the belief that you are not worthy of abundance, the belief that love is painful, the belief that you must struggle to survive, the belief that you are a victim of your circumstances. These are the dead branches. They consume your life force but produce no fruit. They are old programs, inherited patterns, and past traumas that you have allowed to become part of your identity. Taking the shears of your awareness to these beliefs is the true work. It requires courage. It requires you to sit in silence and ask, what do I truly believe about myself? What do I truly believe about reality? This is where the real pruning happens, not in the noisy world outside, but in the sacred garden of your own inner being. Consider this practical example. You are in a relationship that feels draining. The external pruning approach is to try and change the other person. You argue, you demand, you criticize. You are trying to trim their branches to suit your needs. But this never works. The quantum-aware gardener understands that this person is a mirror reflecting an unhealed part of themselves. Perhaps they reflect a belief that you are not worthy of being cherished. The true pruning, then, is to withdraw your focus from their behavior and turn it inward. You prune the belief within you that says, I am not worthy of a loving, respectful partnership. As you cut away that dead belief and replace it with a new one, your vibrational frequency changes. The quantum field must now rearrange itself around this new signal. The other person will either have to transform to match your new frequency, or they will gently and naturally fall away, making space for someone who does. This brings us to the core shift required to correct the first mistake. It is a radical reorientation of your focus from the outside world to your inner landscape. This is the essence of becoming a conscious creator. Your inner world of thoughts, beliefs, and emotions is the only thing you have any real control over, and it is the only thing that creates your outer world. Spend your days pruning your thoughts. When a thought of lack arises, you consciously cut it and replace it with a thought of gratitude. When a feeling of fear arises, you acknowledge it and then consciously choose to feel the frequency of trust. This is active, conscious gardening. It is moment-to-moment work. At first, it may feel difficult, like you are hacking through a dense, overgrown thicket, but with persistence, you clear the space. You let the light in, and you create the fertile ground from which all desired manifestations can finally begin to sprout. The second great mistake of pruning is a violation of cosmic law, pruning out of season. You try to force change out of fear, impatience, and a feeling of lack. This is like a frantic gardener trying to force buds to open in the dead of winter. It is an act of violence against the natural flow of life, and it always results in damage. You feel a pang of dissatisfaction in your job, so you quit in a panic without any alignment or inner guidance. You feel lonely, so you rush into a relationship that isn't right for you. This is not inspired action. This is reactive fear. You are pruning not from a place of wisdom and clarity, but from a place of desperation. The universe operates in cycles and rhythms. There is a time for planting seeds, a time for growth, and a time for harvest. There is also a time for dormancy, for allowing the roots to deepen before new growth appears. To ignore these seasons is to work against the very current of creation. How do you know the right season for pruning? Your emotional guidance system is your cosmic calendar. Pruning from a place of fear, anxiety, or desperation feels contracted, tight, and stressful. The energy is frantic. This is winter pruning. It is an attempt to escape a present discomfort, and any action taken from this state will only create more circumstances that generate that same feeling. In contrast, pruning from a place of clarity, inspiration, and peace feels expansive, light, and freeing, even if it involves a difficult decision. This is spring pruning. It is an act of alignment with your higher self. It is a knowing that a particular branch has completed its life cycle and must be released to make way for new, more vibrant growth. Learning to distinguish between the frantic push of the ego and the gentle pull of the soul is the key to mastering your divine timing. One is a battle against reality, the other is a dance with it. This concept of divine timing is often misunderstood. It is not a passive waiting. It is an active state of listening and allowing. It is the wisdom to know when to act and when to be still. Sometimes the most powerful pruning you can do is to do nothing at all, to simply withdraw your attention from the problem and allow the universe to present the perfect solution. This is an act of profound trust. It is telling the quantum field, I trust that you are handling the details. I will focus on maintaining my own vibrational state of peace and well-being, and I will act when I receive clear, inspired guidance. This surrender is not weakness. It is the highest form of power. It is aligning your personal will with the will of the cosmos. When you move from this state of flow, the entire universe conspires to support your every move. Synchronicities appear. Doors open effortlessly. You are no longer swimming against the current. Think about it in your own life. Have you ever forced a decision and had it backfire spectacularly? That was pruning out of season. You tried to control the outcome from a place of fear. Now think of a time when an opportunity seemed to fall into your lap right when you needed it most. A chance encounter, an unexpected phone call, a sudden insight. That was you in alignment, acting in the right season. Your only job was to be ready to receive it. The universe is always orchestrating on your behalf, arranging the perfect conditions for your growth and expansion. The mistake is believing you have to do it all yourself through brute force and frantic effort. This is the illusion of the ego. The true creator knows that their primary work is to tend to their own energy, to trust the process, and to act only when the season is right and the guidance is clear. The shift here is from a mindset of making it happen to one of letting it happen. It is the subtle but profound transition from control to trust. Instead of asking, "What should I do?" you begin to ask, "What is the most aligned feeling I can access right now?" You make your internal state the priority. You trust that from the right internal state, the right external actions will be inspired effortlessly and at the perfect time. This is true mastery. You stop being a frantic gardener rushing and worrying, and you become the wise gardener who understands the rhythms of nature. You know that you cannot force the sun to rise, but you can be awake and ready to greet it when it does. You tend to your soil, your inner world, and you trust that the harvest is inevitable. This is the peace that comes from co-creating with the universe, not fighting against it. This leads us to the third and perhaps most subtle mistake, fearing the void that pruning creates. You identify a limiting belief that needs to go. You know a relationship or job is no longer serving you. You are in the right season, acting from clarity. But as you raise the shears to make the cut, a deep terror arises, the fear of the unknown, the fear of the empty space that will be left behind. This is the fear of the quantum void. You have become so accustomed to the dead branch, so identified with its presence in your life that you cannot imagine the tree without it. And so at the last moment, you hesitate, you lower the shears, you choose the familiar pain over the unknown potential of new growth. This is how we keep ourselves trapped in cycles of suffering year after year, lifetime after lifetime. Why do we fear this void? Because the human ego craves definition. It wants to know who it is. For many, identity is built upon struggle. I am the person who struggles with money. I am the person who is unlucky in love. I am the person with chronic health issues. These stories, these dead branches, become our comfort zone. To prune them away means to let go of a part of our identity. It means stepping into a space of not knowing who we are for a moment. This void feels like death to the ego, but from a quantum perspective, this void is not empty. It is the womb of all creation. It is the field of pure potentiality from which anything and everything can be born. It is only by creating this space, by releasing the old, that you give the new a place to grow. Nature teaches us this lesson with perfect clarity. A tree must drop its old leaves in the fall to conserve its energy for the winter and to make way for new buds in the spring. A snake must shed its old skin because it has become too tight, too restrictive for its continued growth. This process is not a tragedy. It is a necessary and beautiful part of expansion. You must be willing to shed the skin of your old self. You must be willing to stand bare for a season, trusting that the new growth is coming. This trust is the antidote to the fear of the void. It is the unwavering faith that the universe is benevolent and that every release is an invitation for an upgrade. Every ending is a divinely orchestrated beginning. You are not losing a part of yourself. You are simply making room for more of your true, unlimited self to emerge. Let's look at a common example. Staying in a job you have long outgrown. The job is a dead branch. It drains your energy and brings you no joy. You know you need to leave, but the fear of the void takes over. What if I don't find another job? How will I pay my bills? Who am I without this title? This fear keeps you clinging to the branch, even as it withers. The courageous act of pruning is to resign, not in fear, but in trust. To step into that temporary void knowing that you have created a vacuum that the universe must fill. And by holding the frequency of trust and deservingness, you ensure that it will be filled with something far better, something that is in true alignment with who you have become. This is the quantum leap. It requires a moment of freefall, a moment of pure trust in the invisible fabric of reality. The fundamental shift required to overcome this third mistake is to reframe the void. Cease seeing it as emptiness and start seeing it as pure potential. It is not an abyss. It is a canvas. It is not an ending. It is the sacred pause before the next masterpiece begins. When you prune a limiting belief or a misaligned situation from your life, take a moment to honor the space you have created. Feel its power. Feel its promise. Do not rush to fill it with the next best thing. Sit with the potential. In this space, you are at your most powerful. You are a direct conduit to the quantum field. This is where you plant the seeds of your new reality, not with frantic action, but with clear intention and elevated emotion. You learn to love the void, for you come to understand that it is the birthplace of all miracles. Now let us integrate these three principles, for they are not separate. They are three faces of one central truth. The mistake of pruning the reflection, the mistake of pruning out of season, and the mistake of fearing the void all stem from a single core illusion. The belief that you are separate from the tree. You see yourself as a small, powerless gardener at the mercy of a vast and unpredictable orchard. You believe the tree of your life is out there, and you are in here. This belief in separation is the source of all fear, all struggle, and all misguided effort. It is the foundational error from which the three great mistakes are born. When you try to change the external world, you are acting from separation. When you force action out of fear, you are acting from separation. When you fear the unknown, you are acting from separation. The ultimate revelation, the quantum shift in consciousness, is the realization that you are not separate from the tree. You are not the gardener standing apart from the garden. You are the garden. You are the tree. Your consciousness is the very substance from which the roots, the trunk, the branches, and the fruit are made. The quantum field is not something outside of you that you manipulate. It is the very essence of your being. This understanding changes everything. It moves you from a state of doing to a state of being. You realize that the only work is to embody the state of the person who already has the fruitful, abundant tree. You become the frequency of the reality you wish to experience. This is the master key, the master. When you truly know that you are the tree, the first mistake becomes impossible. You would no more try to change an external circumstance without changing an internal belief than you would try to glue a leaf onto a shadow. You know the source of all growth is within. The second mistake also dissolves. You would never harm yourself by forcing growth in the dead of winter. Instead, you would naturally attune to your own inner rhythms, providing yourself with rest when needed and taking inspired action when the energy of spring surges through you. You begin to treat yourself with the love and wisdom of a master gardener, tending to their most prized creation. You learn to listen to the subtle whispers of your own soul, your own inner guidance system, which is always showing you the most aligned and joyful path forward. And finally, the fear of the void transforms into an excitement for potential. When you know you are the tree, you understand that pruning a dead branch is not a loss. It is an act of self-love. It is a reclaiming of your own life force energy. You are not creating an empty space. You are redirecting your own divine energy from what is dead to what is alive and ready to be born. You feel the sap of your own potential, ready to flow into new channels. The void is no longer a threat, but a promise. It is the promise of your own infinite capacity for renewal, for growth, and for expressing more and more of your true, magnificent self. This is the state of the conscious creator. This is the destination your soul has been guiding you toward all along. You have come here to remember this. So the invitation now is to put down the crude tools of force and struggle. Put down the habit of looking outside of yourself for answers or for blame. Put down the fear of letting go of what no longer serves you. Pick up, instead, the refined tools of the Master Gardener of Consciousness, the tool of focused awareness, the tool of emotional alignment, the tool of radical self-trust. Begin to observe your inner world with the same care you would give a sacred garden. Notice the weeds of negative thought and gently remove them. Nurture the seeds of your highest desires with feelings of gratitude and joy as if they have already blossomed. Trust the seasons of your own soul. This is not just a technique, it is a new way of living. It is the path of effortless creation and profound peace. It is your birthright. The greatest secret is this: you are not just the gardener tending to the tree of your reality, you are the tree itself. You are the reality that is observing itself into existence. The power to create a life of profound abundance, joy, and fulfillment has never been outside of you. It has always been within, waiting for you to stop pruning the shadows and start tending to the light of your own consciousness. You are the creator, the observer, and the observed. Thank you for allowing this truth to awaken within you. If this resonated, anchor this new awareness by subscribing to the channel and liking this video. To declare your power, write this in the comments below: I am the gardener and I am the tree. And now I leave you with a question. What is the first dead branch you are now ready to lovingly prune from your life?